Hello, I'm Mitch.
And I'm Rosalie.
When the hand of God touches the hand of man, miracles can happen. Find out how, next on The Crossover.
We'll be right back.
Discover how God is prophetically uniting Jews and Christians across the world today on The Crossover. Here is your host, Mitch Jerome.
Welcome to our show, The Crossover, and today we have guests Merv and Merla Watson here to share with you Canadians that have moved to Jerusalem, Israel, to live, and accomplished musicians and composers and artists in so many different ways. And you'll get to hear some of their music shortly. Merla, share with our viewers, when you talk about miracles, a lot of the world just says, well, can you document it? And they try to fluff it off. And tell us about what happened in your life with your hand.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's something that every professional musician dreads, and that is a hand accident, and I had a dilly. In 1986, a whole piano fell on me.
Now tell our viewers why a hand was important to you, first of all. What's the hand have to do for your...
Well, a professional musician, if you're an artist, if you're a string player especially, this is deadly because then you can't play. And so the piano fell on me, and the doctor said I would never ever be able to play any musical instrument ever again. But several things happened, but
it
I
fell on you and broke?
Broke. It shattered. These are my skin grafts, if you can see those. This is where all the nerves and the muscles fell out. There's a whole story as to why I was moving a piano and why it fell, but that would take too much time. Just suffice it to say it fell, and this is what happened. And so I had 3 major surgeries, and the fingers were cooperating fine, but I couldn't hold a piece of paper. There was no grip. And I was getting more and more despondent. And so one day I had a dream in the afternoon, and I very, very seldom dream, but I dreamt that I was playing at church in Jerusalem, and all the people in the audience got up and just went crazy with joy. And it was the end of the dream, nearly the end of me because it wasn't true. And so I just got up in faith. My little son helped me with this, and I said to him, I'm going to try to play one more time. I had tried every 4 days, but the violin would just slip through to the floor. And this was very important to me because I've been playing the violin since I was 4 years old.
How old were you when the accident happened?
Gosh, what was I? I would be in my 40s. And so...
So you were accomplished already in your field?
Yes.
People knew of you. Okay.
Oh, yes. And so I went to, as I said, I went to sleep and I dreamt this, and it wasn't true. And I woke up and I was just devastated. And so in faith, I just sat down in a chair and I said to my son, give me my violin. And he went and got it, and he put it underneath my chin. And I just said, in the name of Yeshua, the Messiah of Yisrael, I command these fingers to play now to God's glory. And I played immediately, absolutely immediately. And what is even more astounding is my excruciating pain that I had left immediately, never to return again. I was on addictive painkillers, which I was not aware of, and there was no withdrawal. I went to see my doctor, who's the top hand surgeon in the world, Dr. Maurice Rousseau, and he nearly died when he saw me. I played for him. He cried for me, and he said, I told you you'd never play again. He said, this is the only miracle I've ever seen in all my years of hand surgery. He said, your hand inside is still a mess. There is no reason why you play. Well, he said, get out of my office. I only treat sick people. So I went to church that night, and just like the dream, which was only 6 hours old, I played. And just like the dream, the people went, they just got crazy. They just jumped and laughed and shouted in joy. It was a marvelous time. I've been playing ever since, and now my doctor wants to do further cosmetic surgery to make it look like this never happened. But I said, leave it alone. Why? Because this gives God more glory. And otherwise, I could tell anybody this story and they'll say, well, you're just spinning a yarn, you know. But when they see this, they know. And many Israelis want me to tell it over and over again. They say, tell us about that miracle again. I've written a book which has been translated into several languages, and that was my hand actually after the accident. It was after even the surgery. So it's still not as gross as it was, you know, but...
How long, Merla, from the time of the accident to the healing?
3 months.
3 months.
3 months. But the surgery did not do it. Neither did my grit. And my doctor will tell you that. He said, you had help. He said, there is no way that you can play.
So Merla, share with our viewers that you had a setback. This was your career. You were being used of the Lord. Your hand was gone.
Yep.
So was there ever, now be truthful here, not that you're not, bitterness, a little anger, or how did you handle that?
Well, I knew, you know, God just did sovereign work. When that piano fell on me, immediately I had a sense of peace, and it's going to be fine. Ihyeh beseder, we say in Hebrew. It's going to be fine. And yes, there were times when I was in terrible pain, and the only thing that would help me would be to write another song. And that's what I would do, to get my mind off of it. But it's been such an encouragement to people because, you know, a lot of people go through things in life, trials, tests, sicknesses, whatever, and a lot of times there are terrible pronouncements upon them, like, you know, you have 6 months to live, you'll never walk again, whatever it is. And I don't know why God doesn't always heal. Because obviously he doesn't always heal, but he does heal. And I know that I'm healed. And I've had no, I have had no recurrence of any pain or any incapability. In fact, my hand, because it's flat now, I can reach a span of 10 notes on my piano, whereas I only was 8 before, you know. And I know that I'm playing better than I ever played.
Well, great testimony. I never heard a testimony that wasn't great. And so trials and tribulations come to the believer too.
Absolutely.
And you need to learn from them. Merv, share with us about Roots. You have a ministry, the two of you, Roots.
Well, some years ago, we really felt that people needed to know and be reestablished as to the roots of their faith. And its roots means recycling of Old Testament secrets. And with a lot of people, the Old Testament, the whole thing is a secret. They never delve into it, they never read it very much. And actually, the first 5 books of the Bible are the Bible. Everything else is commentary.
Correct. Okay.
So the more we
the Torah.
Yeah, the Torah, the Tanakh, the writings. Because we hold everything in common, the fathers, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, the prophets, we hold these all in common with Israel. And therefore, there's lots of common ground. The question of Messiah being Jesus or not being Jesus, that's a question that will only be answered when Jesus comes. Because you heard the story about the Messiah arriving at Lod Airport in Tel Aviv, and a journalist ran up to him and said, well, I just have one question. Is this your first time or your second time to Israel? And he said, no comment. You know? So it's almost a no comment. We know what we believe. We know there's only one door to heaven. We know that the Lord said that salvation would come of the Jews. It just so happens that Yeshua, his name is salvation. It means the same thing. So we know that this is the fact. However, there is a tremendous commonality that we have in Israel with all sorts of different Jewish people that are there. And we are thrilled with how much we have learned from them. We study with a rabbi, and we go into words, and he only reads the Torah and Tanakh. And so he only reads these books, and he has all sorts of insights that we who don't have a command of the Hebrew language like he has would miss.
Let's come back in a minute to picking up on the roots here. I've got some questions for you for our viewers. But